Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers. It's time for the Lakers. Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this, what day is that? I believe Saturday. Yes. Happy New Year to everybody, man. I hope everybody was safe last night and had a good time turning up, doing whatever you did for the winter solstice. But with all that being said, we all know the Lakers were in action on last night, and a lot of people was out partying and they may have missed it. And I had watched as much as I could while I was enjoying in several different festivities. But as you all know, it's time to talk about some Lakers, and right on to the real and much love to these haters. And with all that being said, the Lakers took action on last night at home against the Portland Trailblazers, and of course LeBron James started and finished at center again, and every time he plays that position, it seems as though the Lakers have been very successful. The only problem with that is LeBron, I don't think, has the physical stature at this point in his career to go up against the larger centers of the league. So the Lakers still need to keep a hold to Dwight Howard, and I also feel DeAndre Jordan, because you never know what could happen to Dwight Howard. You just never know, injuries, protocol, things like that. So sometimes you're going to have to go big, and when you do, then you're prepared to do so. But when you're playing small ball, and a lot of these other teams that are playing small ball, I think the Lakers have found a pretty dangerous matchup, and that's not an overreaction just from one game. It's just from something that I've been saying all of this time. I've been saying this, that without Anthony Davis, the ball was going to be able to move around. There's going to be extra passing, and you're going to see the Lakers actually go out and have an offense that's just not stagnant, where people are standing around watching LeBron play isolation ball, or standing around watching Anthony Davis play isolation ball. You got movers, you got cutters, you got pick and roll actions, you got backdoor action, you got a lot of different things going on at one time. So that's pretty good that the Lakers are continuing to, move the ball the way that they are. And I feel like they can only grow, and the chemistry can only grow. And what they really did last night is they prevailed 139-106 was they played great defense. And of course, like I said, they got some more people back into the fold last night, namely Trevor Ariza and Austin Reeves. And then you see what a difference that can make because of what both of those players are capable of doing on the defensive end. When they come in off the bench, they are giving you much more on the defensive end of the floor than that of THT or Wayne Ellington, who you can see who came back last night and only got 5 minutes of garbage time action, basically. So that lets you know. Of course, Vogel came back on yesterday too, and I would say he did a pretty good job as far as the rotations were concerned. I had no complaints from Frank Vogel last night. Of course, how can you have complaints when you beat a team down? And we know that Portland was short-handed, and Larry Nance had to start at center, and the Lakers knew LeBron can easily handle that matchup. So of course they went small and did what they had to do. But man, for all these people I be seeing all these dumb, smooth brain remarks from haters about LeBron James. It just be killing me. I saw somebody say on Twitter or somewhere they said, well, he can get all these points, because people's like, man, that's just amazing. LeBron scoring 30-something a game for 7 games in a row or whatever it is. And people, oh, well, the game is easier now. People just hit threes. It's not the same physical. Man, shut up. So the game easier now, but Kevin Durant got 24,000 points. LeBron James got 36,000. Kevin Durant been in the league 14 years, 15 seasons, whatever you want to call it. He not but 4 years behind LeBron. So don't act. And then the next closest player behind him that's still active, Carmelo Anthony. He's still 9,000 points behind LeBron. So if it's so damn easy, why everybody not doing it? And when he get the record for Kareem and had the most points of all time and solidify himself up on that Mount Rushmore, then everybody is going to see that record is going to still be around for a damn long time. You understand what I'm saying? But back to the game on last night, the Lakers defense is what really led to the victory. They were able to really just shut down Damian Lillard. The way they played team defense was outstanding. They had lots of situations in which they were able to fight through screens and not let Dame Lillard get easy and open three-point shots. They really closed out to the shooters last night. So what I saw from them on the defensive side of the ball is what impressed me more than anything, besides the fact that LeBron James was just raining terror on them all night long. And LeBron was doing on the defensive side of the floor. He was getting swipes, steals, stealing it on one end, leading to the dunk on the other end. So it seems as though he had more energy than any of the players last night. And let's just say this, it is the Portland Trailblazers, and I do feel bad for them, but at the end of the day, they got Dame Lillard, they got other NBA players. McCullough, I don't think, played on yesterday, but Chauncey Billups, I don't think that was just the greatest idea of, he's never coached, I don't believe. Could be wrong. I don't think he's coached, even as an assistant coach, because I want to say he's just been more of a television analyst. So how could he just go into, and I know you play basketball, but, and then what if players not respecting what it is that you give it, So when you are a leader of men, you have to be able to get them to buy into what it is you are selling. And right now, I just feel as though they are a poor coach team. And I haven't seen a lot of Portland games, so I just don't want to make a broad, analysis coming from Chauncey Billups. But I mean, if anybody else know what the hell going on with the Portland Trailblazers, you let me know, because I know all kind of people been in and out of the protocol. That's just how it is. And speaking of which, of course, the Lakers did trade Rondo on yesterday. That everybody knew that was gonna happen to make space to sign one Stanley Johnson. I don't know if they signed him yet, but I'm thinking that's, of course, what they did to free up their roster spot, unless they had some other things in mind. But Stanley Johnson has been playing great defense since he's been on his 10-day contract. And I feel Stanley Johnson is the reason why they didn't sign Isaiah Thomas again to his 10-day contract, which I think he may have been picked up by Dallas or somebody else for another 10-day. But at the end of the day, I think it's a pretty good move for the Lakers. Stanley Johnson is a capable shooter too. He can knock down threes, and he's not afraid to. And LeBron James finds him all the time, it seems, in transition from the three and during half-court sets from the three. And Stanley Johnson knows how to get up and get into the defender. And I believe, he might have fouled out, but that right there lets me know that he's playing tough defense and that he's not giving anybody anything easily. You understand? And from the fouls that I see from him, they don't seem to be dumb fouls. Some of the fouls I saw were fouls that was like, that really shouldn't have been fouls, kind of questionable. They didn't necessarily have to call that foul, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I like what he is showing the Lakers as far as his ability to play defense and to knock down open threes, because that's something that the Lakers definitely need. And now that you have Austin Reeves, he's another defender who's capable of defending. Although he is a rookie, he's shown that he can play good defense and knock down threes. And then Trevor Ariza, we know he's a 3-and-D wing, and that's exactly what the Lakers need. So now that you see with Westbrook, who had yet another triple-double, people say it's meaningless, but the biggest stat to me from a triple-double, I don't give a damn about some of the rebounds he go out here and get. He might snatch it from another player or something like that. I understand that, but a lot of his rebounds are good rebounds that the Lakers need. So every time he get a rebound, it's important, because if he get a defensive rebound, that prevented the other team to have an offensive rebound to get an extra opportunity. And when he get an assist, that's easy points for the Lakers. So, it's all going to start to come together. And LeBron James, like I said last night, 43-14? 43-14 with 0 turnovers. And he's looking pretty good behind the free throw line too. And the Lakers as a whole finally got it together from the from the free throw line last night. 87%, 26 out of 30. I couldn't believe it. Good job to the Lakers on that. And then from 3-point range, LeBron was 5 out of 10, shot 50% as a whole. The Lakers from 3-point range was 46%, which is great. And they held a pretty good 3-point shooting team, and the Portland Trailblazers held them to 29%. So if you hold the NBA team below 30% from 3, you're more than likely going to win that game. Portland only shot 12 out of 42 from 3-point range. And that was really the big key to the game because it wasn't a lot of turnovers. The Lakers only had 7 turnovers last night. I'm not sure. I should have looked it up to see who those turnovers was on. I don't think Russ had a high number of turnovers himself. He might have only had 2 or 3. And, you know, Portland, it was a pretty clean game. They only had 9 turnovers. But for the most part, it was just basically LeBron James coming out, dominating from start to finish. And when they put in that lineup with LeBron James at center, I think teams are going to second guess. They are going to second guess themselves if they really want to play small ball against the Los Angeles Lakers when LeBron James is at center. And that's without AD. Because even with AD, I say you let LeBron play center so he can anchor that defense in your small ball lineup and still let Anthony Davis play the position that he's accustomed to playing as the 4. And then LeBron James can be that middle linebacker, so to speak, on defense because he calls out a lot of plays and he tells people where they need to cut and where they need to be. And he even knows the team's other plays and he can call it out as it's happening. That's how high his IQ is. So, you know, I think the Lakers are making moves in the right direction. So I think, I want to say tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, they're taking on the Timberwolves. Tomorrow they're going to be taking on the Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves have had their way with the Lakers. Even last game, Karl Anthony Towns was just doing in Anthony Davis, but there is no Anthony Davis, and that's what I'm saying. Dwight Howard, who was inactive last night, I think is available, so they're going to have to bring him into the lineup, I feel, in order to put a body on Karl Anthony Towns because, you know, as great as LeBron James is, I think that'd just be asking too much to have him defend Karl Anthony Towns and then expect for him to go out and carry the heavy load on the offensive side of the ball that they'll be asking him to carry. So I would look for him to move over to either the 3 or the 4 spot, just depending on, you know, the availability. I would like to see, you know, Trevor Ariza and Monk in the lineup and maybe let LeBron move over to that 4 spot and start Dwight. So I would think maybe, you know, let's say Westbrook at the 1 for this game, and then at the 2 spot have Monk, and then, you know, you could put Ariza at the 3 for LeBron at the 4, and then put Dwight Howard at the 5 because you're gonna need somebody to match up with Karl Anthony Towns. And last time that wasn't a good thing because he was pretty much having his way, and Dwight Howard turned into a foul machine, and he has not been, Dwight Howard as of late has not been defending the pick and roll as I thought he could. He's normally been a pretty good pick and roll defender, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but I would imagine that the Lakers can still go out and win that game tomorrow. To all the naysayers who were saying everything, LeBron James keep performing the way he's performing, and Anthony Davis come back and they start figuring it out, and then Kendrick Nunn come who they haven't even had a chance to contribute, and y'all better watch the hell out. Keep talking. I said it a long time ago, and it's kind of funny. I got on this Biggie Smalls t-shirt. You understand what I'm saying for today? Because he said, laugh now, cry later. I rhyme greater than the average player hater. You understand what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, man, I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. I just want to chime in from the game on last night, even though I didn't get to really break it down like I normally do because, like I said, I had a lot of good festivities going on, and I hope everybody did. So stay safe, and as always, man, right on to the real. Much love to these haters.